Hi, I am Mr. Xavier. I am excited to have your student in my science class, whether it's 7th or 8th grade. I'm really excited for this school year. I know it's quite different being remote choice, but overall, this first week has been really excellent, and I've enjoyed getting to know your students, and I thought it would be really good for me to introduce myself to you all. So I'm Mr. Xavier. Originally, I'm from Indiana. I moved here to Kansas, to Olathe specifically about, I guess, 4 years. It's been 4 years. Before that, I lived out in Oregon and California, where I directed summer camp and worked outdoor education. And I moved here because my wife is here and she's a teacher here in Olathe. Just to give you a little bit about my educational background, I received my education degree from Purdue University. I have taught in Kansas City, Kansas for the last 4 years, and this is my first year in Olathe, and I'm really excited about being at Santa Fe Trail and proud to be SFT. And I thought it'd be really a good thing for me to go over some of the common questions I'm getting from emails and to just kind of help you guys know that I'm here for you and that I'm happy to help assist any way that I can. So I thought by having a kind of question answer type thing, that might be really helpful for each of you, especially as things come up. So the first thing I want to go, there have been a lot of questions around electives, and actually I'm going to share my screen with you. Core classes, so math, reading, science, and social studies, that's synchronized. So that means that it happens at the same time. So it's a consistent thing. It's live communication, so the teacher is there on Zoom, we're with your students. It's less flexible because it does have a set time, and then they're meeting at pre-scheduled times. When we talk about asynchronized, that's where we're talking about those challenges, those elective challenges. And those are going to be where your student's able to work at their own speed. They're able to communicate with the teacher when it's convenient for them to communicate, and then that teacher will get back to them. There's a lot more freedom in it and flexibility. Synchronized are the core classes, so math, reading, science, social studies. Those meet at a predetermined time every other day since we are block scheduled. And then the challenge courses are asynchronous. We'll have 2 to 3 activities that they need to do. They don't have any contact on Zoom with the teachers. It's self-paced, it's self-driven. So they really set their their goals and what they're doing. They work through getting that content done and submitted to their teacher, okay? They should anticipate spending about 45 minutes to an hour a week on the challenge task for each of these courses that they're in. And then they will submit that work to that teacher who will provide feedback for them. And you can see what these are in student view. So if you're in student view, the way that you do this is your student will need to click on class websites from the options that are on the left-hand side. And then once they are there, there's a drop-down menu that they will be able to access at the top, and then they can choose their courses in student view. Okay, so they might have PE listed, okay, and they are able to go and they can see that website, take a look at it. And I know right now there are some, like it's showing up like there's a link that should be generating, but for the electives, there are no scheduled times to meet on Zoom, okay? And those challenge classes or electives for 7th and 8th grade, PE is one, so physical education, leadership concepts, and computer 1. Those are available for both our 7th and 8th graders. And then 8th graders also have careers as an option. So those are the asynchronized classes that your student might be enrolled in, okay? So again, asynchronized means that they are meeting on their own time and working to get that work taken care of. So it's self-paced, self-driven, okay, for your student. All right, so the next thing I want to go over with you to kind of help is block scheduling. Just so you know when your students' classes meet and this is something that has been sent out. I have it posted on my website on Student View as well. But here is the bell schedule. So for the remote choice students, we actually don't get started with in-class instruction, and that's if they have a teacher during those first blocks, or they might be, like we said, asynchronized. But we get started at 8:25. So first hour goes from 8:25 to 9:40, and then third hour is 9:55 to 11:10. Fifth hour is 12:15 to 1:30. Seventh hour is 1:45 to 3 o'clock. Okay, so those are their times for getting started and getting the day going if it's an odd day. And then if it's an even day, okay, very similar. So they're going to start with second hour, which is 8:25 to 9:40. Then they go to their homeroom on their schedule. This is listed as when. It's down at the bottom, and this is only on even days, but we will meet from 9:55 potentially until 11:10. But homeroom is really about kind of checking pace, seeing how everyone is going, and from there giving some work time to work on finishing task. Okay, after homeroom it's lunch, and then at 12:15 to 1:30 it's fourth hour, and then sixth hour is 1:45 to 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, your remote choice students, they are done. If they have questions, it's a great time to reach out to teachers because we're still here. We are happy to help answer any questions that they may have. But that's just kind of a breakdown of the bell schedule. So if you're trying to determine, is it an odd or an even day, on their student view for my class underneath course materials, I have provided a calendar, and I will update as we get closer, because right now they and you can go take a look and keep track of if it's even or odd. So Friday is odd, the 11th, and then Monday the 14th is even, and it just keeps that pattern going, okay? So that's a little bit about block schedules. All right, so favorite time of year, of course, is Picture Day, which is tomorrow, is designated our yearbook picture day at Santa Fe Trail. So it's from 3 to 7, okay? And we are going to do it drive-through style to take pictures. So here are the instructions and the directions to make it a little bit easier. So if your student is a 8th grader, from 3 to 4:30 is their time to come by the school and get their picture taken. If your student's a 7th grader, from 4:30 to 5:45 is their time. If your student is a 6th grader, from 5:45 to 7 is their time to come on by. If you happen to have students who are in more than one grade, pick the time that works for you and bring your students up. Okay, so pictures are going to be taken in the north gym. The vehicles should enter through the north parking lot, and that's the parking lot that's between Santa Fe Trail and Washington Elementary. And students will enter through the activity entrance and exit through the back of the north gym. Students should plan on having their ID with them when they arrive, because this will help the process go quickly, allowing everyone to get through. Masks need to be worn prior to taking the yearbook picture and then put back on immediately after, okay? So when it comes to masks, just a quick note, gaiters and bandanas are not allowed. Those are not approved mask coverings, so please make sure that it is a mask. And social distancing guidelines will also be followed at this time. You as the parent, you'll remain in the vehicle. You won't be entering in the building. Your students will come in and get their picture taken, and then they will be on their way. We will be doing picture retake on October 28th, and we'll have more information about that to follow, okay? So yeah, picture day is tomorrow. My next topic is Zoom. And with that, checking email. So Zoom has the ability, it generates the links for classes right before classes begin. And I know that it hasn't been loading on everyone's page. So for me personally, I can't speak for other teachers. What I have decided to do is as soon as I have access to that invitation for my Zoom, I am getting onto Teacher View, which is the same as Student View, but for teachers. I'm getting onto that and I'm sending out that information in an email to my current class. Okay, so as soon as I have access to the link, I'm emailing it out. I know a lot are able to find and get in, but I know that there are a lot of issues where people can't. So in my Zoom, but then they get an email about a Zoom link. Don't worry, they are not confused. It's just all confusing. Okay, so please make sure that they are joining through Student View. It should be populating the link for them, but if it isn't, they can check their messages on Student View and they're able to get in that way. Additionally, they can check their messages through their Gmail account. So if they are having trouble accessing Student View, they are able to log into their Gmail and they can check it that way in order to get those links. There's a permission slip for doing lab safety. And I know that your student is not presently in the class with me, but they might be in class next semester if you choose that to go back to being in person. So I want to make sure that we have it on file for the lab safety. There is one for 7th grade and there is one for 8th grade. You just click on that link and it will take you to where you need to go. Okay. And when you fill that out, it's going to collect the email addresses for me and I'll be able to then use that for emailing out any Zoom links or anything that I might need to send out to students. So that completing that lab safety contract, super important because of the lab safety, but also really important because we know, I know you know, that technology is not always being our friend this week. And it might not be next week either. So we want to make sure that we are set to go and that we have everything that we need to have. So please make sure that you get that survey filled in and that way it collects the email for me. And I'm sorry I said survey again, but fill out the lab safety form. Now, something that actually is a survey, I have decided that it might be a cool thing if someone's able to answer some of the questions that you have. I'm going to create a Google form so that you as a parent or your student, if there are any questions that they may have, you can submit it through this form and I will work on answering those. Now, during the day, that might be hard. Most of my day is spent hanging out on Zoom and teaching the students. But after school and things like that, I will work through getting through any questions that have been asked or any information that is needed, getting that out there for you all. So I'm making a Google form, and if ever something comes up, you can submit it. And the cool thing about Google is it will actually send me an email alert letting me know someone submitted. I can definitely do that to help because it's beneficial now. It'll be beneficial anytime. And I think that's it. Again, Mr. Xavier, Teach Science, super excited to be here, proud to be SFT, looking forward to working with you this year to make sure that your student is able to not only set their academic goals, but meet and exceed those goals that they set. It should be a great year, and please do not hesitate to reach out